So maybe you can just follow from where you are. Okay, use your pencil. And you'll have to make sure I don't see it, okay? All right, so when you are finished with the plaster craft, we are going to reduce the size of the base. The amount that you're able to reduce it is going to be different for everyone. So I want you to still make sure it's balanced, figure out what size and shape you can do. So to determine that, you can probably go ahead and create a shape on the base with just a pencil that you will be cutting out. And then the next thing that you're gonna do is get an X-Acto knife for me. I keep these so people don't mess with them. And if you get your X-Acto knife and the blade is a little loose, it's just righty-tighty, and you can tighten that back up. Now, using the X-Acto knife, a lot of people use it incorrectly, and they use it at the tip, like this. When you use an X-Acto knife, you wanna lay it down because this is the blade, and you wanna use all of it, all right? Whenever I give you tools to use, I'm gonna show you how to use them correctly. That, like, for example, when you use a Sharpie, you don't want to scrub the Sharpie onto the paper. You want to lay the ink down. When you use a paintbrush, you don't want to scrub the paintbrush. You charge up the brush and use the brush to lay it down. When I use a skill saw or I use a chop saw, the tendency is to want to push. And if you push on the blade, you're just going to burn the wood. It creates too much friction. The blade spins around at so many revolutions that you just lightly let the blade do its work. Whatever tools you use, you let them do the work. Even if you're just using a saw. Some people push too hard and don't let the teeth cut it. Even using a hammer, some people use it incorrectly. They take a hammer and they just go like this. A hammer is weight. Hammers come in different weights. You know, there's a 1 pound hammer, there's an 8 pound hammer. And the whole idea behind a hammer is bringing it back and letting the weight push it in. So every tool has a way to use it. And when you use it correctly, it works for you instead of against you. So when you use an X-Acto knife, you're gonna make sure, now, once I give you an X-Acto knife, you need to make sure there's cardboard underneath. And I save all the cardboard so you have plenty to use, okay? So, when you start cutting, if you notice that it's not cutting very well at all, let me know and I might need to change the blade, okay? And I'm not following my pencil mark exactly, but that's okay. And when you get to the plaster areas, it's going to be a little more difficult to cut. And you notice how I'm turning the cardboard to make it easier? Now, I've cut all the way around, but I probably didn't cut all the way through. So, I have enough where I can see what's going on. One more pass ought to do it. So please, please, please make sure that you have cardboard underneath. And then if you have any jagged areas where it didn't cut so well, you can play with that and you can cut them off and clean it up a little bit. I think I'm at the beginning. Okay, should pop up. So now we've cleaned it up and you have a much neater sculpture with your base. So now you have the decision. I restricted your palette on colors. So you're just gonna paint your sculpture one color. You know, Giacometti's sculptures were all one color also. These are not realistic sculptures, right? So we're not painting them realistically. That just wouldn't make sense. When we do something realistically, we can use realistic, but when you try to paint something really realistically, you're fighting the materials. So you're gonna pick one color and you're gonna paint the base and you're gonna work your way up until you get to the top. And it makes sense to do that, and I'll show you why. So you have choices. You have violet, green, black, orange. Violet, green, black, orange. That's it. Remember, I'm restricting your palette to the Halloween sort of colors. Now be aware, I'm not teaching you color mixing yet. The colors you are using are secondary colors. Orange, green, and violet are made using primary colors. You cannot mix any of those colors together and make another color. To make the tertiary colors, you would have to mix a secondary with a primary, and I'm not giving you any primary colors. The only way to mix colors with primary colors. So don't try to mix them because it won't work. Okay, does that make sense? All right, I'm gonna teach you how to mix colors. Those things that I just told you might not have meant that much to you, but you're gonna learn how to do it, okay? Just don't mix, pick a color. And over here I have lids that you can put your color in, and when you get your color, I want you to put it on a lid, and when you're done using it, I want you to return the lid right here, all right? In addition, you're gonna grab a paintbrush, and at the end of the hour, you are not going to go to the sink and clean your paintbrush. All you're gonna do is put it right in this bucket, and I will clean them. Because sometimes you guys clean them and they're not very clean, and they get put back, and then they just harden up. If I clean them at the end of the hour, I know they get clean and they don't end up just staying at the sink, okay? So I suggest, I started with this, this color violet. I'm not so sure I like it. There's multiple kinds, there's not just one green in the world, there's multiple greens over there, there's multiple oranges, and there's multiple violets, but only one black, okay? So if you can hold your sculpture like this, and go ahead and get the base painted, paint the sides. Now also, get a piece of construction paper to put underneath. In fact, I'll do that. I think I need paparazzi following me all the time. I like that he's filming this right now. Let me see really Okay, so I'll get this stuff out of the way. And then this cardboard, you can just toss it. So make sure that you get a piece of construction paper underneath. You do not need a cup of water with your paint because you're not mixing, okay? All right, so hold your sculpture and get the whole base painted. It makes sense to do this first, that way you can hold it while you do it. So get it all painted, start at the bottom, and then just work your way up the sculpture, okay? Now, in case your sculpture is still wet, what I want you to do is fold over the paper, and you can put it back over there. And then we're gonna get to the point where these sculptures don't take up as much room as they do now because we got rid of the base. We got rid of like 3/4 of the sides. So you're gonna need at least 2 to 3 layers of paint, more than likely, all right? So count on that, and only count on doing 1 layer a day. It won't dry quickly enough for you. And when we're all done, we're gonna have all the Halloween colors, and we're gonna display them all together, and it'll make a really cool like Halloween sort of. So the sooner you can do it, the better. So I wanted to show you today, so tomorrow you guys can just get rolling. And then we'll have, hopefully we have them done, a lot done by next week, and I want to put them in the library for everyone to see. One more important thing. You've eliminated your name from your cardboard. We're gonna have 90 sculptures, and yours may be kind of hard to find. Please make sure you put your name on the bottom. Put your name on the bottom, okay? Name, have to. Everything you do in here, put your name on it. People might take it if you don't, all right? Any questions? You good? Okay, with the remaining time, you all can go ahead and do your warm-up, and if that's all you get done today, that's cool. Okay? All right, thanks, guys. Did you end it?